Hello there, people of the world, and welcome to today's episode of Coffee Chats with Jax. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about a question that I was asked just last night, actually, that brought up a lot of memories and a lot of stuff that I feel like I haven't talked about enough in these videos. And I want to go back for a minute and I want to share a story with you guys that I don't think I shared enough about when it happened because it was scary. You guys, for a year and a half, I was living behind lies. I was involved in a lot of stuff that I was ashamed of and couldn't find my way out of that shame. And I was too scared to come clean of it because I was letting the shame speak to me and tell me that, hey, if people knew this one thing about you, they wouldn't want to be your friend. If people knew the truth, then they're not going to like you. And this is what defines you. And I was letting those voices of pure shame tell me what to do. And so I hid behind these lies from my past. And the one person specifically that I was terrified of finding out the truth was my sister. It got to the point that I knew I needed to tell her the truth. I knew I needed to let her see who I truly was and let her in. She would tell me that she loved me and she would tell me that she cared about me, but I wouldn't accept that because she didn't know the real truth about me. She didn't know X, Y, and Z about me. I was thinking in my head, like, if you knew these things about me, you wouldn't actually love me. By me hiding behind my shame, by me keeping my authentic self from being seen, I was also keeping my authentic self from being loved. And that's why I felt like I was dying inside. That's why I felt like a piece of garbage. I felt like trash. This one day, I knew that I needed to go tell my sister the truth. I was sitting on my couch in my living room at my old apartment in Burbank. I had been crying for a week straight. Everything that could go wrong. Every relationship seemed to break. It was one of the hardest weeks of my life. I felt like I was dying. I felt like my heart was crumbling. I felt like there was no way out. Everything was coming to the surface and I was sitting there on the couch. And normally I would drown out the pain with like a sitcom. I would like turn on Friends or Parks and Rec or something and just make myself a bowl of cereal and numb out because my real world wasn't fixable. The shame that I had carried that was now coming to the surface and I was losing people and I was hurting people and everything that seemed like it could go wrong was going wrong. It didn't seem fixable. The shame from that was telling me that there was no way out, and I was listening to it, and you guys, I have entries in my journal that I was reading today from that day, and there's still smudges from where my tears were falling on those pages because I didn't know what to do. I had really scary thoughts about my life during this week that I never really talked about, but it pushed me. It pushed me over to the edge and I just wanted to be done. The truth's gonna come out, and you know what? If people hate me for this, that's okay because hiding it was exhausting. Guys, don't ever try and hide your life. Don't pull a Hannah Montana. I made up my mind. I was gonna go tell my sister the truth. And I know that the details behind that are vague, but be patient with me with that, okay? This is scary. This is scary, but I need to share the story with you because if I'm quiet about it, then it's pointless. It's for nothing. I fully expected for her to turn her back on me, disown me, never want to talk to me again. I got in my car, I was hysterically crying my eyes out. I like blasted Hillsong. I was driving to her house and I was crying and all I could think about were the old memories that me and my sister had together of when we were little kids putting on plays in our basement. I was dancing around in my pink nightgown and she was throwing me on the ground, dancing to the Annie soundtrack. That's all I could think about was that I was about to go say goodbye and break my big sister's heart. I had wanted a relationship with my big sister my whole life. We kept missing each other, but we were finally having one now, and every time I'd see her, every time she'd ask me to get together, all I could think about was that I'm about to hurt you. I'm about to break your heart. Because I thought that my story was gonna be the end of everything. I got to her house, I walked in the door, full, hysterical, bawling. It took me like an hour to get this out. After I finally told my sister the truth about everything, the truth that I thought was gonna break her heart and make her hate me, all she could do was tell me that she loved me and hug me and tell me that she forgave me and it's gonna be okay. You guys, that's straight from the heart of Jesus. I can't explain to you the feeling that I felt when she said that. That was the least expected, least deserved thing in the world, and I had goosebumps thinking about it. When she told me that, and she forgave me. That was the most undeserving gift in the world. I never understood Jesus the way I did in that moment. Because when she forgave me, when I told her what I thought made me the worst person in the world, and she forgave me, there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This grace was pure. That's what saves lives. That's what we need to survive. That's what set me free. Suddenly, the hatred that I had for myself didn't seem to make sense anymore. Suddenly, what I thought was the worst thing in the world didn't seem to be real anymore. That's Jesus' heart for us. I got to experience actual grace, actually what saves our lives in a person form. From my own sister, I got to learn what grace meant. Suddenly, it didn't matter who knew this story about me. Like, I was done hiding this story. I was done. I didn't care who knew what. I was over it. And suddenly it didn't matter who knew, because I had the grace and forgiveness of my sister, the one person who it did matter she knew. I had her grace, that was my covering. It didn't matter what anyone else thought, because hey, I'm forgiven by the person that I needed it by. Just like we're forgiven for literally everything by the one person that we need it by. And that's supposed to cover us from all judgment from everybody. It was the most humbling, beautiful picture of what it's like to be forgiven and have grace by Jesus. I was scared after because people are going to find out. I don't want to hide from this. People are going to know the truth. And part of me still cared what they thought. But all Alex does when this story is told is defend me, is protect me, is stand up for me and make sure that no one gets to say bad things about me because she's got my back. That's grace and that's Jesus, and that's a moment that changed my life forever. The shame that I felt is all worth it. He used that to show me the real meaning of grace. And as simple as that sounds, if you guys can actually get it and actually realize what it means to be wiped clean and forgiven, it's everything in the world. It's what saves my life. It's what allowed me to love myself again and be who I'm meant to be, because I'm not hiding this ball and chain on my ankle anymore. It's cut off, I'm free, and it's done. Guys, thanks for watching this video today. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you can relate at all, I would love to talk to you about it. We're actually going to be continuing this conversation over on my Patreon page. If you click that box on the side of the screen, or if you click the link in the description box below, patreon.com/JackieGTV. That's where we're going to be continuing this conversation. I want to hear your story. I want to hear your thoughts on grace. Any questions, comments, concerns. That's also where you can support me and join my family and just get behind what I'm doing, because guys, there's a lot of dreaming going on and there's a lot of really exciting things happening, and I want to share it with you and I want you to be a part of it. Click those links. I'll see you over there, and I hope that you have a good rest of your week. Love you guys.